Anthony Davis dealing with a sprained right thumb. He hurt it in the Lakers preseason game on Saturday while playing in China. Davis had the MRI. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting it came back clean. Kevin, how concerning is this injury for AD given he's had some injury history?
Okay, so we have some good news here. I mean, that's first of all. I mean, I think it's concerning marginally on two levels. One is to the extent that the gap between number 1 and number 7 in the West is going to be really tight, and you don't want to be playing game 1 on the first weekend of the NBA playoffs on the road. The second for the Lakers, and this is kind of a Laker thing, is if he's not around, maybe they start out 7-5, 9-7, 10-8. It's a team that's vulnerable to chatter, to static, and to the extent that they don't play up to, they play closer to 500 ball than 750 ball. Now there's just all this swing. And then we start talking about Frank Vogel's job. And then we start talking about everything else. So, you want them to be situated in playing well in October, November, just so, that keeps the wolves away from the door.
I ain't got no worries, Kevin.
Okay.
I got no worries. This is no problem. Hoopers know if it's a thumb sprain, that's something you can sort of manage. And the fact that the MRI came clean, that means everything is pretty much structurally sound.
Good.
People just throw some wrap on it and they go out there and play. Now, I know the worry words are thinking about, you alluded to it, Rachel. Oh, my neck, my back. There's a long list that Anthony Davis has been. I know, my ankles, everything, my finger, my index finger. There's been a long list of injuries that he's had. But they're all been small nicks and knacks.
He's been relatively healthy the last few years. I think what happened early kind of maybe unfairly stayed with him
exactly.
a bit, to your point.
But he's always played at least 61 games in the NBA, with the exception of last year where it pretty much shut down minutes restriction.
But that was not an injury.
Exactly, precisely. So I'm not necessarily worried at all. I think, the other team in LA with Paul George, that situation is a little bit more worrisome. But right now, Hoopers know when your thumb is sprained, you're pretty much still good.
Well, we will get to the Paul George situation. To your point about the start, though, there's two issues with the early start. They have to come out of the gate strong because of your point, the chatter factor, all of that. They also have to come out of the gate strong because their schedule is soft at the front of their schedule. When you are a team that has a lot of national TV interest, we've talked about this before on the show, your schedule is backloaded, right? Because you're on those primetime ABC Saturday night games. Those are going to be great. You're also going to be what TNT wants on Thursday nights coming toward the end of the season. So teams like the Lakers are scheduled for those games more. The Rockets, it's a number of teams, not just LA. And that means the first half of their season is a little bit of a lighter schedule because those marquee matchups are happening in the second half of the season. So if you don't do well in the first half of the season, it's not getting any easier. And that chatter you talk about will only get ramped up.
But if she's not worried, I'm not worried, because I barely have opposable thumbs. So I mean,
it's a good rule of thumb.
Yes.
If Chiney isn't worried, none of us should be.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN Plus.